Alright folks, we are covering great motorcycle roads in every state in America. And in today's video we're going to be talking about the best motorcycle roads in North Carolina. So stay tuned because the best roads are right here. Okay, so here we go with North Carolina. What makes this state so great for motorcycle riders is the Appalachian Mountains in the western region of the state, and on the East Coast, riders can check out the pristine beaches and lighthouses along the Atlantic. Now, as you can probably tell from my accent, I am not exactly from North Carolina, so go easy on me in the comments. But we can assure you we have in fact ridden these roads, and we'd argue these are the top 7 routes in the entire state. We'll cover some of the more popular rides, including the world-famous Dragon at Deals Gap, and we'll even cover some tips on how to ride that insane road. But we also have a couple lesser known motorcycle roads that may even rival those famous ones as being the best rides in the entire state. And for all the work we put into the video here, all we ask of you in return is to hit that like button. It'll help our channel, and don't forget to subscribe either. We've got more videos on the best motorcycle roads in other states in America, so be sure to check those out. And all these roads can be found on our website, greatmotorcycleroads.com. There we have route descriptions, pictures of what the roads actually look like, and links to the direct Google Maps routes, all of which you can get on the go right on your device. And I'm proud to say this website was recently polled as being one of the best motorcycle related websites in the world. Of course, the poll consisted of a grand total of 2 people, both of which happen to be my parents. But hey, isn't that how polls work in general anyways? Alright, without further ado, let's get to the routes. Okay, first up is Newfound Gap Road. This is US 441. This road actually starts in Tennessee and ends in North Carolina. It's about 31 miles in length. If you start this in Gatlinburg, riders will climb approximately 3,000 feet, ascending through pine oak and northern hardwood forest to attain the evergreen forest at Newfound Gap at 5,000 feet. With the significant altitude changes, you'll have more than a few scenic pullouts that afford long-range views of the Blue Ridge Mountains. And the brief side trip to Clingman's Dome puts you at the highest point in Tennessee. And that's a great road to take on your bike as well. On a clear day looking east, you can see more than a dozen distinct mountain ridges from here. There can be major temperature differences on this ride, so be ready for some cooler weather the higher up you go, even in the summer. Newfound Gap is actually the lowest drivable pass through the Smoky Mountains National Park. Not only are there significant altitude changes, but riders will enjoy switchbacks and even a full corkscrew on this road, all on beautifully maintained pavement. Alright, so that's the good news. Now for just a little bit of bad news. Smoky Mountains is one of the most visited national parks in America. This road is almost always going to have some traffic, and in recent years it has gotten even more congested. So bear that in mind when you're timing your ride here. But if you expect to deal with a lot of cars on this road, you may not be as disappointed. If you do get caught up in a little traffic, just look at it as an opportunity to enjoy the views. But if you take it for what it is, Newfound Gap is a beautifully maintained road through a gorgeous national park with tons of spectacular views. And if you can time it right, it's truly one of the most inspiring motorcycle rides in the eastern United States. Up next is a road the National Park Service dubs as America's favorite drive. This is the Blue Ridge Parkway. The whole thing is about 469 miles in length. This great motorcycle road reveals stunning long-range vistas and close-up views of the rugged mountains. The entire scenic road starts along mountain ridgetops from Waynesboro, Virginia, and continues south to Cherokee, North Carolina. There's something to see along virtually every mile of the Blue Ridge Parkway, from the handcrafted bridges to no less than 26 tunnels that will take you through mountainsides. The parkway is part of the U.S. National Park System. It provides high elevations, steep grades, and tight curves, especially in the North Carolina section. The great thing about the Blue Ridge Parkway is that it connects Shenandoah National Park on its northern end and the Great Smoky Mountains National Park on its southern end. So it not only connects 2 fantastic motorcycle trip destinations, but it's also a gorgeous road in and of itself. And maybe best of all is that there's no stop signs or stop lights. And the fact that it's serviced by the National Park System means this road is beautifully maintained. And some of the best motorcycle roads are the ones leading to and from the Blue Ridge Parkway. This is just an awesome area to experience by motorcycle. And at 469 miles, it would take a little over 12 hours if you were to ride the entire road non-stop. So if you're attempting that, allow at least 2 to 3 days. which would let you take advantage of the many overlooks and take in all the scenic beauty. And you'll have to detour off the road to fill up on fuel and lodging. And just a word of caution, be careful about the wildlife here. We wouldn't recommend riding this at dusk or dawn. I've done this road a few times over the years, and there was one ride I did much later in the day than I had planned, and I couldn't believe how many deer were hopping onto the road. And since the parkway was conceived, designed, and constructed for a leisure-type driving experience, it's not one you'll be testing your high-speed skills on. But that being said, it truly is one of the best roads in the entire eastern United States. The Blue Ridge Parkway is a national treasure and one not to be missed if you're riding in North Carolina. Okay, if you're looking for a lesser-known challenging road, look no further than North Carolina Route 80. Known to some as the Devil's Whip. It's about 38 miles in length. Steep inclines, switchbacks, quick and tight turns all describe this extremely challenging motorcycle ride in North Carolina. If you take this ride south to north, you will be navigating the tight corners going uphill. North Carolina Route 80 crosses under the Blue Ridge Parkway between Crabtree Falls and Mount Mitchell State Park. This road has more curves and elevation changes than some of the other more popular rides in the area, with a lot less traffic. This road is awesome, especially on the east side from Marion, North Carolina, up to the top at the Blue Ridge Parkway. This part of the motorcycle ride is lightly traveled and will require your full attention as you navigate curves and switchbacks. And keep in mind there's not many pull-offs until you get to the top. And the great thing about the Devil's Whip ride is there's so many other roads it connects to down in the valley. For a longer loop ride, check out 226 and 226A in the Little Switzerland area for some more tight curvy riding. But just keep in mind folks, the Devil's Whip is not for the novice rider, and it's definitely not for beginner riders. There are many fatalities on this road, so even the most experienced riders will want to navigate this route with caution and focus. If you're like us, you agree when you're riding your motorcycle, you are glad to be alive. And when you stop riding your motorcycle, you are glad to be alive. And speaking of being glad to be alive after a ride, next is one of the most popular motorcycle roads in America. This is Deals Gap, also known as the Dragon. The ride on Deals Gap begins in North Carolina but dips deeper in Tennessee as you go. It's renowned for being a uniquely twisty and roller coaster-like motorcycle road. Surrounded by the Great Smoky Mountains and the Cherokee National Forest, this infamous American motorcycle route boasts a whopping 318 curves in just 11 miles. It's a beautiful piece of road, perfectly engineered and banking, immaculately paved, and it combines a pleasing rhythm of tight turns. Really, the appeal of this adventure is actually just riding it. And the tight turns here provide ample challenge to all skill levels. There are no intersecting roads or driveways to hamper your travel. However, the sheer popularity of this road means there will almost always be many riders in front of you and behind you, as well as the many sports cars where drivers come to test their skills. There are occasional events and rallies on this road too, so check before you go to make sure the traffic isn't too intense. It's challenging and exciting for some, but it can be just downright scary for beginner riders, so be careful on this one. Motorcycle crashes unfortunately are quite common. Really, this road is on this list because to ride it is truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You just don't want it to be an end-of-life experience. So what are some quick tips to help you take on a road like this? Well, number one, you don't want to lock up the front brake while in the turn. Figure out your entry speed before you hit the curve, and go slower upon entry. Many riders practice trail braking for situations like this. Also, keep your eyes and head turned in the direction you want to be. If you think you're going to lose the curve, don't focus on what you're afraid you'll hit, like a tree or an oncoming vehicle. Instead, focus on where you want to be, and don't give up on the curve. And be sure not to cross the yellow lines. This is bad etiquette, especially on Deals Gap, as you'd never know if someone around the corner is doing the same. And make sure to ride at a pace at your skill level. Don't try to ride at someone else's skill level because there's always going to be someone who wants to ride Deals Gap faster than you. And finally, make a few runs. On the first go, try to make it a test run. Take your time and get a feel for the curves. And once you're familiar with it, the second and third time you can have a bit more fun. So keep these points in mind, but despite the challenges and downsides, the quality of road and rider culture will make this an experience you'll never forget. And it's a definite bucket list ride for any accomplished motorcyclist. Next up is North Carolina Route 28. This is about 53 miles in length. The western part of this route is referred to as the Moonshiner or Hellbender 28, and for good reason. Ride through dense, forested mountains, sweeping curves, and drop-offs, all lakeside in the Great Smoky Mountains. There are few rides in America that can equal the views as you travel this beautiful byway along Fontana Lake in North Carolina. The eastern side of this route offers scenic waterfalls and more tight cornering. Since the road ends at Deals Gap, it makes for a perfect warm-up ride if you plan to take on the Dragon. But North Carolina 28 has the added benefit of being less known and less populated. This road is well maintained and you may find that the scenery is much better. Although this road does attract sports cars and other speedsters. So it's best to time your ride wisely if you want less congestion from other curve enthusiasts. There's really not much for side roads or driveways on this part, so the only thing you have to watch out for are the curves. There really is so many great motorcycle roads in this part of the state, but Route 28 is definitely one of the best, and it's a road you would not want to miss. Next we have the Copperhead Loop, featuring North Carolina 276, 215, and 64. This is about 75 miles in length. Much of this North Carolina motorcycle ride follows the Forest Heritage Scenic Byway through the Pisgah National Forest, and it's a perfect combination of everything riders would want. Uphill and downhill curves, switchbacks, sweepers, and amazing views with peaceful mountain streams. You can start the loop in Pisgah National Forest traveling north on US 276. Doing so allows you to be facing Looking Glass Falls and Sliding Rock as you ride north, and when you turn on North Carolina 215, you'll also be facing the creek and waterfalls as you climb towards the Blue Ridge Parkway. US 276 riding north from Pisgah Forest has long been known for its beautiful scenery, as it quickly increases in elevation to intersect with the Blue Ridge Parkway. Even well-experienced riders will enjoy the rapid elevation changes and the challenging technical curves this loop provides. You'll only be traveling 3 roads in this loop, so it makes for an easy one to remember. But all in all, the Copperhead Loop is a challenging ride with awesome scenery. Find out why the Copperhead is called Beauty with an Attitude. Next is the CHEROHALA Skyway, featuring North Carolina Highway 143 and Tennessee Route 165. This is about 43 miles in length. This is a favorite for motorcycle and sports car drivers with its many twists and turns. The Skyway is relatively new. It was completed in 1996 after 34 years of planning and construction. It follows North Carolina Highway 143 and Tennessee Route 165 to Tellico Plains, Tennessee. This drive among the clouds reaches elevations of over 5,400 feet high. This gem is full of extraordinary mountainside forest scenery. Riding the CHEROHALA Skyway on a motorcycle, you'll find smooth pavement with good traction. The abundant and unobstructed overlooks are well marked, paved, and are found around just about every corner. You'll want to pull off on some of these as they offer stunning long-range views. Temperatures can drop as much as 20 degrees during the first 11 miles of your drive, starting in the North Carolina side. Since the Skyway climbs from 2,600 feet in elevation to 5,400 feet in that short span. And if you really want to challenge your riding skills, you can incorporate the nearby Tail of the Dragon, which would make a 120-mile loop ride of a lifetime. While it may sound like this is a relaxing ride, the CHEROHALA Skyway challenges the motorcycle rider's skill and is absolutely one of the best motorcycle roads in the southeast United States. So that's our list of the best motorcycle roads in North Carolina. If you didn't see a route that you think should be included, go ahead and let us know in the comments section below. Or if you have ridden these roads and have experience and recommendations on how to ride them, be sure to let us know in the comments as well, because other riders love to hear from you. If you found this video helpful at all, hit that like button for us. It'll help the channel, and don't forget to subscribe either. We've got more videos on the best motorcycle roads in other states, so be sure to check those out. And don't forget, all these roads can be found on our most excellent website, greatmotorcycleroads.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.